What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/StoriesAboutKevin. Alright, this story's called Kevin Joins the Army. Hello, Reddit. I'm an older guy and pretty new here, but my nephew told me that this story would fit perfectly on this subreddit. Until I talked to him, I didn't even know what a Kevin was. But from what my nephew told me, this gentleman fits the description perfectly. Back in the 80s, I joined the army when I turned 18. And this is the story of someone I went through basic training with. Kevin isn't his real name, obviously. This isn't particularly relevant, but let me describe what Kevin looked like. He sounded like he was from Alabama or Mississippi or somewhere down that way. I'm not a great judge of southern accents, but he was definitely from the deep south. Kevin was 5'8" and a little chubby. His face was remarkably pale and greasy with copious acne. His hair was black and equally greasy, along with a hearty sprinkling of dandruff. He wore army-issue glasses, which sat a little crooked on his nose. Now, with that out of the way, let me tell you how he earned the name Kevin. Kevin routinely called the drill sergeant sir. Now, in the army, sir or ma'am is for officers only, and drill sergeants hate it when you call them sir. The proper way to address a drill sergeant is just to say drill sergeant, as in yes, drill sergeant, no, drill sergeant, etc. This was a mistake that wasn't uncommon for people to make. So the first time it happens, your drill sergeant would normally just yell at you, and that would be the end of it. Kevin kept saying sir a staggering number of times, though. I wish I were joking when I said this. Kevin couldn't figure out how to tie his boots. He said that he had only ever worn cowboy boots, so he didn't know how to tie shoelaces. Kevin looked to be in his early 20s. I have no idea how he got that far without being able to tie shoes. One of the things they make you do in basic training is to march in formation. Basically, you all just stand in rows, face forward, don't talk, and step at the same time. It really isn't very difficult. Kevin was unable to step at the same time as everyone else, no matter how many times the drill sergeant yelled at him, and how many times we practiced marching in formation. In true private pile fashion, Kevin tried on multiple occasions to smuggle food out of the mess hall. I remember on one occasion, I heard a drill sergeant yell, "What the hell is that?" pointing an accusing finger at the food Kevin had stuffed in his pocket. No, he didn't do a full metal jacket and make everyone do push-ups while Kevin ate a donut. Kevin was remarkably incapable of understanding how to use a rifle. Many people have trouble accurately hitting the target the first time they shoot, but Kevin struggled to even load a magazine or enable or disable the safety. He also had trouble holding the rifle properly to shoot. The proper way to shoot a rifle is to get a stable stance, lean forward a little, place the stock of the rifle firmly against your shoulder, and rest your cheek on the top of the stock to look down the sights. Kevin consistently managed to forget one or more of these things. Now, to Kevin's credit, I never saw him do anything that would actually be a danger to anyone else. He never pointed the rifle at people or anything like that. No, the only person Kevin would be able to injure with a rifle was himself, it seemed. On the topic of a rifle, one other thing we had to learn how to do was disassemble, clean, and reassemble our rifles. It really wasn't a very difficult process, but Kevin was frustratingly unable to grasp the steps required to take his rifle apart and put it back together. One of the things we did learn was how to throw a grenade. Basically, there was a low concrete bunker which you would stand behind with two drill sergeants, one on each side of you. You were supposed to pull the pin on the grenade and throw it over the wall, at which point the two drill sergeants would tackle you and hold you onto the ground behind the bunker until the grenade went off. A lot of people are pretty nervous doing this, both because they're handling a live grenade and they're about to be jumped on by two large angry men. Kevin was one such person. He somehow managed to throw his grenade at such an angle that it landed inside the bunker. I heard, in order, a drill sergeant yell, "What the hell?" The thud as Kevin was tackled, the bang as the grenade went off after the other drill sergeant threw it over the wall, and then Kevin yelling as the first drill sergeant started punching him. Now, drill sergeants aren't actually allowed to hit you. But keep in mind, this was 35 years ago, so rules such as that weren't strictly enforced. In cases such as that, drill sergeants certainly did hit people, and people in the higher-ups turned a blind eye to it. Ultimately, Kevin did manage to complete basic training and went on to be a cook. I can't speak more for modern times, but back in the day, Army cooks had a reputation for being really dumb, so I suppose it's fitting. Someone I knew used to say, if you're smart and you can shoot, go into special forces. If you're smart but can't shoot, become a medic. If you're dumb but can shoot, you go into the infantry. If you're dumb and you can't shoot, you become a cook. That's obviously oversimplifying it a lot, but the point remains valid. In the end though, Kevin and I graduated together and I never saw him again. The memories of the 2 months I spent with Kevin, however, will last forever. And that's the best we can hope for, at least for Kevin's sake. I'm kidding. I hope he managed to find a way to... I don't know. Alright, this story's called, This Kevin Thinks Having So Many Twisted Views Is So Funny and It's Annoying. Forgot this existed. This would be the best place to tell you about my Kevin. So, this is someone I met from parkour training, and every training session with him is so annoying cause he just keeps talking so much crap. He's 16. I'll list his dumb beliefs in order of stupidity. His first one is, he believes tucking in a flip is harder than doing a layup and makes you move more slowly. Oh my god, what a freaking idiot! He believes that clouds stop it from being windy. Had to take him outside on 3 separate occasions when it was both cloudy and windy, cause one didn't prove our point. He believes that being gay is, and I quote, a disability, and that you have to go to a doctor to be told you're gay. We tell him that's homophobic because that's exactly what he's being. But I don't know what this is trying to say, but his friends think he is because he thinks phobia is being scared of something, and he thinks he's not scared of gay people, he's not homophobic. I swear to God he said that. When we then asked him if gay marriage would affect him in any way at all, he couldn't think of an answer. That's when he said that being gay and transgender is a disability to try and change the subjects because, and I quote again, we should try to help them get fixed cause that's not how humans were made or made to be. He also believes that climate change isn't real. Now, while I know there's a larger amount of people who believe this, his argument was that the world naturally heats up and cools down, which is true to a degree. But he thinks humans don't add to the problem at all, and that we'd be better off by going back to nuclear energy because it's better, and that cars don't contribute to carbon dioxide emissions because trees take all the CO2 there is. Edit, to clarify, while I know that nuclear energy is better, he also thinks it's safer. He also doesn't quite fully grasp the danger of it, and also the disposal of the waste that's the plant would produce once it's turned on. He doesn't actually care about disposing the waste, instead it's not that big of a deal, might get someone with superpowers from it. Well, I'm thinking this was a joke. I'm not 100% sure with this guy. Okay, my friend, nuclear energy, as far as I know, is really safe nowadays. Alright, there are so many safeguards in place. Like what happened at Fukushima, it was a freak-ass accident, okay? While I don't remember exactly what went wrong with Fukushima, but I do know that like most, if not all, nuclear power plants nowadays have safeguards to prevent that from happening. So like that's one good thing that does come from disaster, is prevention of other disasters. Then again, if that disaster never happened in the first place, we wouldn't really have to worry about it. Anyway, but in terms of power, we've got liquid metal batteries coming and nuclear fusion, which is better than everything. Anyway, there's also a local river near where I live that runs next to what used to be an industrial area and slaughterhouse. Multiple houses and most of the crap produced there flowed into the water there. The place was transformed into my city's Olympic Park, and it was somewhat cleaned up, but still has very bad water quality. There are even signs 3 suburbs away from there that say don't eat any marine life caught in the river. He swam in it and refuses to believe it's poisonous. There were 6 people in that day that told him, but he didn't believe any of us. And he also thinks if you're really fat, you are bull bulletproof and that a bullet can't kill you. I mean, if you're fat enough, technically, right? Fat can stop a bullet, like if you have enough of it, theoretically. But if you get to that point, you don't have to worry about the bullets killing you. He also climbed a street sign once, 50 meters away from police that were doing roadside drunk driving tests. I swear to God, all of this is real, and some happened just yesterday. Yikes. Dude, if this dude doesn't end up with superpowers due to some freak accident, I don't want to live here anymore. Kevin doesn't know how dogs work. My next door neighbors have 2 pit bull dogs. They are super cute and are giant teddy bears. Well, that is until you try to come onto my porch or their porch and they don't know you. If that's the case, they will stand there barking their heads off, but ultimately they do nothing. All bark, no bite, so to speak. So I was outside getting ready to start shoveling snow. My husband was gathering the garbage to take out, and then he would be out to help. So I was shoveling what I could while waiting for him. The dogs were out on their porch for a bit and I was talking to them, saying their names Duke and Princess. Some guy that does not live in the neighborhood was out for a walk, I guess. He stopped and asked me why I called them that. I said it's their names. He said, yes, but why did you name them that? I explained that they are not my dogs and that they are my neighbor's dogs, that I just know their names from speaking to my neighbors. At that point, I started trying to look busy while cursing my husband under my breath for taking so long. I'm nervous about talking to strangers during a pandemic. I glanced up and the man is still standing there just looking at the dogs. I said they just bark, that they can't get out, and even if they did, they are harmless. You're fine. The man said, well, this is just so ridiculous. He pauses. I try to ignore. After a few seconds, he said, who the heck would name a pit bull Princess? I sighed and said, why not? I was thinking he was going to be one of those pit bull hating people that found it stupid that anyone would give it a nice name, but what he said, this grown man looked at me and said, but Princess is a girl's name. I was confused and said, yeah, she's a girl. This full-grown man looked at me and laughed. Not a quick, ha-ha kind of laugh, like a 30 or 40 second long laugh. Then he dropped this bomb. Pitbulls can't be girls. I just said, what? He repeated this. I said, how do you think pitbull puppies are made? This man told me breeds weren't made or even breeded or bred. 2 dogs had babies and their breed was assigned depending on things like gender, muscle mass, and any other physical and personality characteristics. Pit bulls, Dobermans, Rottweilers, Labs, Retrievers, and some others are always boy dogs. Pomerans, Poodles, Yorkies, and other small dogs were females. This man seemed to be older than me, so I'm guessing 50s. He seems sober and put together, but this man thinks a bunch of breeds are only male and another bunch are female. I then ask, explain crossbreeds like Labradoodle and Puggles. He looked at me like my hair was on fire. I quit. I went inside and told my husband a crazy man is outside and we should just stay in for a bit. I thought he was gonna say dogs can't be girls. That'd have been funny. This is also kind of concerning. Alright, this story's called The Toilet Paper Wars, a party boy story. Hey guys, Happy New Year and all that jazz. I was recently reminded of this gem, and since I had a few requests for more of my Fort Hood stories, I figured I'd go ahead and share. Around 2008, my buddy Party Boy had a barracks roommate that was a bit of a pig. We're talking old food left out, dirty clothes, visible skid marks in the underwear if you catch my drift, left on the floor, and overall poor hygiene. Not the best living situation when you have to share a very cramped space, especially when the barracks in question should have been condemned. This particular pig man we'll just refer to as Chef Kevin due to being an army cook. As an army cook, he was probably the worst cook I'd ever seen. Poor slob couldn't even mix Kool-Aid right. Aside from Chef Kevin's lack of hygiene, a common point of contention between the two was toilet paper. For whatever reason, there was never enough toilet paper in their room. Imagine a full roll being used in one day and any spare rolls just randomly disappearing. Chef Kevin never contributed to the toilet paper fund and would always get confrontational when asked to pick some toilet paper up. He'd get especially daring if his girlfriend was present. Things became heated one night in the barracks as we see one of Chef Kevin's buddies leaving the shared room with a bundle of toilet paper under his arm. We stopped him and asked what was up, and he just said, Chef Kevin gave it to me. We took the toilet paper back and confronted Chef Kevin. With the backing of his girlfriend, Chef Kevin brazenly said he had every right to give out the toilet paper as it was communal. His reasoning being it was in their shared bathroom. The bickering continued for a while until Chef Kevin and his girlfriend left for the night. With that, we hatched a plan. Party Boy decided to move all the toilet paper to his personal wall locker and leave only a few strips on a single roll. To help add insult to injury, I took what was left of the roll, unrolled it, and wrote, "Ha ha! You're screwed now!" on the bare roll before rolling the little bit back up. Party Boy then put a lock on his wall locker, and we went out to do some bar hopping in Austin. Sometime later in the night, Party Boy received a one-word text from Chef Kevin calling us buttholes. We laughed about it and went back to partying. We didn't get back until roughly 2 a.m. and found Party Boy's room trashed. Apparently, Chef Kevin looked everywhere for some toilet paper and never found any. We even saw what looked like scratch marks on Party Boy's wall locker, like someone had tried to break the lock off. Myself and another one of our buddies helped Party Boy clean his room up a bit and just naturally assumed Chef Kevin needed to blow his nose really bad. The next day, Chef Kevin returned and chewed Party Boy out. Apparently, Chef Kevin had a bout of violent diarrhea the night before and didn't appreciate the message in the toilet paper. There were still issues between Party Boy and Chef Kevin, but luckily none were toilet paper related. Chef Kevin sounds like a horrible roommate, and glad that's over for Party Boy.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.